Now we come to a very important concept in this chapter, which is the conservation of linear momentum. Now, before understanding the concept of conservation of linear momentum, let us understand a couple of terms: system and external force, what these terms are. System is defined as a group of two or more bodies on which we are going to carry out the experiments, or we are going to study the impact. So, in this particular example that you see, there are two balls A and B. So, the system would comprise of the balls A and B, and it has to have, the system should necessarily have two or more objects. A single system doesn't make a single object doesn't make a system. So, you require two or more bodies to actually comprise of a system. So, if you have three balls, the three balls A, B and C would actually comprise the system. So, once you define the system, the external force is relative. Now, when you define the system, any force that is being acted on this particular system is called an external force. Any force that acts between the objects within the system is internal force, and we ignore it, we do not take it into account when we are finding out when we are applying the conservation of linear momentum. So, in here, when you roll the two balls A and B, or let the ball A be stationary and ball B is rolled and it goes and strikes it, there will be a force of impact acting between the two objects A and B. So, the body A is going to apply a force on object B and B is going to apply a force on object A. But we are defining the system to comprise of these two balls. So, this particular force, that the contact force, the reaction force that acts when the two bodies collide, is going to be internal to the system. And when the forces are internal to the system, the conservation of linear momentum can still be applied. The conservation of linear momentum principle will fail when the force is external. If there is any non-zero external force, the conservation of linear momentum would not be applied, cannot be applied. But in here, the objects are going to collide, but that force is going to be internal to the system, and hence the conservation of linear momentum principle is going to be applied in this case. Now, let us see how. But before that, let us see what the definition is. It says that according to the principle of conservation of linear momentum, the total momentum of a system, here it comprises of the balls A and B, remains constant if no external force acts on it. So, in this particular experiment, what the scientists did was, they kept a ball stationary, the ball A was kept stationary and a ball B was rolled on the table with a velocity v. Now, the ball B went and collided with ball A, the ball A moved to a certain distance and the ball B stopped after going through a certain distance. And what the people conducting the experiment, they realized that the loss in momentum of the ball B was equal to the gain in momentum of ball A. So, the loss in momentum of ball B was compensated by the gain in momentum of ball A, and hence the total momentum of the whole system was found out to be conserved. Here the table on which they are rolling is assumed to be frictionless, so it's very smooth, and hence and only in that case you can observe this kind of a finding. Now, let us derive the principle of conservation of linear momentum mathematically. Now, in this particular example, what do we have? We have two balls A and B moving with velocities UA and UB respectively. They collide and their velocities changes to VA and VB, and we have to see if the principle of conservation of linear momentum applies to this particular case or not. The table again is assumed to be frictionless, and hence there is no external force acting on the system. So, the initial momentum of the system would be MAUA plus MBUB. Once the collision happens, the body A is going to apply a force FAB on the body B, and the ball B is going to apply an equal and opposite force FBA on the body A from Newton's third law of motion. The only thing here is that FAB will be equal to minus FBA, because the forces are equal in magnitude but they are opposite in direction. We have also studied in Newton's second law of motion that force is equal to rate of change of momentum. So, what is the force AB? FAB would be equal to the rate of change of momentum of body A, which is MAVA minus MAUA divided by T, and FBA will be equal to MBVB minus MBUB divided by T. Now from Newton's third law of motion, FAB is equal to minus FBA, and if you simplify it and if you evaluate it, you will come to the conclusion that MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. So we see here that the initial momentum, the sum of momentum of all the bodies of the system, is equal to the final momentum of the system. So the conservation of, we see that the momentum, the linear momentum of the whole system remains conserved if no external force acts on the body. What is the application of conservation of momentum? The application of conservation of momentum is again in rocket propulsion. What happens? Initially when you have a rocket and you have a fuel, the initial, if you take that as a system, the rocket and the fuel, the rocket and the gases, the exhaust gases, they are at rest, right? When you just light the engine, when you start the engine, it doesn't fire up. So the initial momentum for this particular system is 0. Now when you ignite the fuel, then the exhaust gases come out, they gush out, down, they make a velocity, they make a motion down, so the velocity moves down. So to conserve the momentum of the whole system, the rocket must move upwards. There has to be a motion upwards to balance the change in momentum that's acting downwards. So because the initial momentum is 0, they both are at rest, so the initial momentum is 0. Final momentum would be what? The exhaust gases moving in the downward direction and the rocket moving in upward direction. That is how they will cancel out. If they both move in the same direction, then their effects will not cancel out. The velocities are not going to cancel out each other. And in that case, you will get a non-zero value of momentum, final momentum. But the initial momentum is 0 because the rocket is at rest along with the exhaust gases. So to make the final momentum equal to 0, the motion of the rocket happens in the direction opposite to that of the exhaust gases, and hence this is how it moves. So there is a huge gush of gases and the rocket gets the required speed, which is called the escape velocity, because if you impart any particular velocity to a rocket, it will go to up to a certain distance, and then finally the gravitational pull of the earth is going to take a toll on it and it's going to fall backwards, which is what happens in case of a lot of rockets which actually fail. When you ignite a rocket, when you make the exhaust gases gush out, you impart a velocity to the rocket. If that velocity is not enough to escape from the gravitational pull of the earth, the rocket is not going to go into space. So the velocity which is just sufficient to make a rocket go into the space, move out of the gravitational pull, non-contact force of the gravitational pull of the earth, it needs a particular velocity, and that particular velocity is called the escape velocity. We will be dealing with it in the chapter on gravitation. I just wanted to give you a hint of what exactly is there, since we are talking about rocket propulsion. So rocket propulsion makes use of conservation of linear momentum. The second example is in the case of recoil of a gun. The gun and the bullet is taken as one system, the bullet and the gun. So when you take the gun with the bullet in it and you just hold it and you take an aim, what is the initial momentum of the whole system? The velocity of gun is 0, velocity of the bullet is 0. So the initial momentum would be 0. Now when you fire the gun, the bullet moves forward, right? So let the mass of the bullet be mb. So the bullet moves with a velocity vb. So its final momentum would be for the bullet would be mb vb. Now mb vb plus mg is the mass of the gun. So mg vg is the velocity with which the gun would move backwards. The sum of these two momentum should be 0, right? Because the initial momentum is 0. So mg vg plus mb vb is equal to 0. Now from this, what do you get? You get Vg is equal to minus, if you take the other term on the other side, it will be minus Mb Vb by Mg. So the velocity with which the gun would move back, that is the velocity with which the gun is going to recoil. The moving of the gun backwards is called recoil. So when you fire a bullet, the gun is going to move backwards. Now that recoil, the velocity is Vg, and Vg is equal to what? Minus Mb Vb by Vg. Mass of the bullet is very small, so that's not going to play a very important factor. The velocity of the gun, velocity of the bullet is going to be very high. That's VB is going to be very high. So that makes the numerator high. The higher the velocity of the bullet, the higher would be the numerator, and that's going to be a concern, because higher the numerator, higher will be the VG. That's the recoil velocity of the gun, and you will get a higher force acting on your body, and you might fall down. So to compensate for that, what is the other factor that you can take care of? In the denominator, you would see that there is mg. And what is mg? Mg is the mass of the gun. If you increase the value of mg, the recoil velocity of the gun is going to decrease, and that is going to be better, because you won't want to move a lot of distance, so you don't want to get hurt when you fire a bullet. You would just want to have it a small recoil. So to have a small recoil, you need to have a small recoil velocity, and small recoil velocity would be obtained when the value of mg is increased, because you would want the bullet to go very fast, so you won't want the VB to be small. The MB is small anyways, so the only factor that you can change to actually reduce the recoil is the value of mg. So if you make a very heavy gun, the recoil would be less. So this is where the principle of conservation, the law of conservation of momentum comes into picture, and the people who design the gun, they design the gun such that it is heavy enough to reduce the recoil that anybody would experience. So high quality gun will have a very low recoil, and both the cases of rocket propulsion as well as recoil with a gun, they make use of application of